Yeah, I have.
Right. Okay, I'll get started. Good evening, everyone. This is the Walsh Avenue and Martin Avenue Class 4 Bikeway Planning Study. You're in the Phase 2 Community Workshop. We're sharing the roadway concepts that we have come up with to install new Class 4 protected bikeway on those two corridors. This project is funded by 2016 Measure B program. Next slide, please. So this meeting is being recorded, and we will be posting this PowerPoint presentation and the recording on the project webpage. I highly welcome you to connect with us. You can leave us a voicemail at 925-223-8332 or send us an email with your comments or suggestions at walsh-martinbikeplan@tjkm.com. I also posted a QR code here where you can scan and access our project webpage. We also posted a project concept survey on there and looking for your feedback on each design concept. Next slide. Throughout this presentation, we welcome you to use the chat feature on the bottom of your screen to send us your questions and comments, and we'll address them during the Q&A session. Next slide. So if you're here, you can also use the raise hand function if you would like to speak during the Q&A session. If you're calling from using your phone, you can press *9 to raise hand or *6 to unmute yourself. We'll be also using interactive polls if any participants join the meeting later to look for your feedback on each of the design concept. I think we're gonna skip, yeah. Okay, so here's the workshop agenda for tonight. I'll give a very quick project team introductions, and then our project consultant will go over the project schedule and outreach activities to date. We'll then be sharing the corridor collision and parking analysis, and then dive into the proposed design concepts and each alternative. Then we'll have a Q&A session. And lastly, we'll wrap it up with the next steps and how do you get involved or stay updated on this project. My name is Nicole He. I am the project manager for this Walsh Martin Avenue Class 4 Bikeway study. I also have our principal tram station planner, Carol Shariat, with me online tonight. At the back end, we have our assistant public works director, Michael Liu, and tram station manager, Steve Chan, to provide a higher level project oversight. For this project specifically, we hired TJKM tram station consultants to help with the city to develop the preliminary design concepts for the new bikeway facilities. We have Ruta Jariwala, project manager from TJKM, Anna Hinesmith, tram station engineer, and Devyani Padubiji, assistant transportation planner from TJKM. From here on, I'll pass it over to Ruta to go over the project schedule.
Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, everyone, to be here. So we did start this project in early winter of 2023. We gathered a lot of information and also had public input. Our first BPAC meeting was early spring, followed by community meeting number 1, and then we had another BPAC meeting last month, which was BPAC meeting 2. Today we are here presenting the concepts at community meeting number 2, which will be followed by business stakeholder meetings, and then come early 2024, we will have the 3rd community meeting, followed by business stakeholder meeting and BPAC meeting before we take the final plan to the BPAC meeting number 4 in early spring. So we do want to hear back from you, your concerns, your selections, or for specific concepts, and if you have any questions regarding them or you want us to modify something, then please do let us know. And once that is done, we'll take the plan to council for adoption. Quickly want to go through the study area. Our study area for this particular project starts from, basically it has two corridors, Walsh Avenue and Martin Avenue. Walsh Avenue between Bowers Avenue to Lafayette Street, and Martin Avenue between Lafayette to De La Cruz. Existing conditions, how does Walsh Avenue look like? Walsh Avenue is 1.7 mile east-west minor arterial corridor with 4 lanes, so 2 travel lanes in either direction. The adjacent land use is predominantly office buildings and industrial parkways. Currently, it does have a class 2 bike lane from Bowers Avenue to St. Thomas Expressway. It also has VTA ACE shuttle running along Walsh Avenue. There is on-street parking available on Walsh Avenue, but just between Martin Avenue and Lafayette Street. Martin Avenue, again, the corridor that we are studying is from Lafayette Street to De La Cruz. It's a 0.5 mile east-west collector corridor in central Santa Clara. 4 lanes in 4-lane roadway, 2 lanes in either direction. Land use is predominantly industrial. On-street parking is available on both sides of the corridor. So we do want to go through some outreach effort that we have gone so far. We do have a project website specifically for this particular project, so please do visit our website. It's a good way to keep in touch with the project and also get updates. Through our project website, we do have a map input platform that allows you to let us know what your issues and concerns are. By getting to that platform, you can actually pinpoint on a map, or also let us know throughout the corridor if you have any issues between the blocks. Then you can put your comments in there, and we'll collect all that information and use it to refine our alternatives. We also had 2 pop-up events. One was the Bike to Work Day or Bike to Wherever Day. Just last weekend itself, we did have a booth for at our Art and Wine Festival, where there were quite a few people attending, and they did talk about the project and gave us a few comments on what they think about the different concepts that we had. Apart from that, we did have yard signs throughout the corridor. We have sent out over 1,100 postcards. We also passed out comment cards during our pop-up events. Other than that, if you still want to leave us any messages, then we do have a voice message service that you can call. But until today, we haven't received any phone calls. And then you can also email us at walshmartinbikeplan@tgkm.com. So far, we have received 3 emails through the email address that we have for this project. Just to run through on community meeting number 1, it was conducted on May 25th of 2023. 7 community members participated. A general discussion in that presentation was about project purpose, approach, scope of work, and community vision. 86% of participants were residents, 50% use Walsh and Martin Avenue for recreational purposes, versus 71% said that class 4 bike lanes will encourage biking along the corridor, so they can see many more people biking the corridor if we implement class 4 bicycle facilities through the corridor. Some of the community concerns that we heard, in total, we did receive 49 comments through surveys, and 32 comments were received along Walsh Avenue, and 15 comments were received along Martin Avenue. There were 2 comments that were overall comments, didn't really specify whether it was for Walsh or Martin, but it was for generalized for the entire project. A lot of the comments did raise concerns regarding intersection improvement for bicycle safety and continuity. They did say that there is a need for a bicycle facility through the corridors. Speeding was one of the concerns that was raised, and then a need of center turn lane in the segments where we do not have center turn lane, especially Walsh Avenue towards the Lafayette Street and Martin from Lafayette to De La Cruz. A lot of people said that it would be good to have a center turn lane. Quickly diving into collision analysis. Overall, we have seen 57 or recorded 57 collisions through our project corridor, 41 collisions on Walsh Avenue and 16 on Martin. Luckily, we didn't have any fatalities or severe injuries reported in last 5 years, which is from 2018 to 2022. 10 collisions resulted in visible injury, 13 collisions resulted in complaint of pain, and 34 collisions were classified as PDO, property damage only collisions. A lot of these collisions were at the intersection. So it was reported that 14 collisions were at the intersection of St. Thomas Expressway and Walsh Avenue, and 13 collisions were reported at the intersection of De La Cruz and Martin, right there. Collision by mode. We did analyze the collisions to see whether these collisions were motor vehicle collisions with pedestrians or bicycles, or motor vehicle collisions with other motor vehicle collisions. So there was one pedestrian collision and one bicycle collision through the corridor, as you can see. Parking analysis, we also did parking analysis through the study corridor. In total, there are 332 on-street parking spaces, 150 spaces on Walsh Avenue, 125 spaces on Martin Avenue, right there, and then 57 spaces on the surrounding streets or neighboring streets, right? There are parking restrictions wherever parking is allowed. So we do have 1 hour parking restriction right here between St. Thomas and Scott, 4 hour parking restriction between Lafayette to De La Cruz, and 6 hour parking restriction between, again, on the north side of Martin Avenue, which is between Lafayette and De La Cruz. Overall, the parking restriction is no stopping anytime, and vehicles over 20 feet in length are not allowed to park through the corridor. A major chunk of the corridor, as you can see, has no parking. So parking is not allowed at this point in existing. We also did on-street parking occupancy for weekday. This is an average. So as you can see, 37% of the parking is occupied on a weekday. Conducted the same analysis for weekend, and approximately 29% is occupied over the weekend, which is at 11 a.m. in the morning, and 17% at 12:30 a.m. At night. Parking demand. This particular slide illustrates the weekday parking at 11 a.m., which is the peak. A total of 37% of the corridor is occupied. 124 spaces are occupied during that time, and 208 spaces are unoccupied. So overall, if you look at it, the parking occupancy on a typical weekday is significantly lower, which is, when we say significantly lower, that means it is lower than 85% threshold that we generally look at. Estimated parking utilization. We also looked at where do people park on the corridor, north side or south side. So our inventory shows that a total of 83 spaces are available on Walsh Avenue, on the north side of Walsh Avenue, right here, and out of which 39 were occupied. So we do have a utilization rate of 47%. Similar calculation was done for the south side. So there are a total of 67 spaces, 17 cars were parked, so 25% of utilization rate. North side of Martin was 16%. South side of Martin was 33%, and then the side streets utilization rate was approximately 19%. Now diving into the design concepts and alternatives that we have, like we want to kind of get your input on. So we have divided the corridor into 5 sections. Section A, Section B, Section C is the section over the bridge, Section D, and Section E. Quickly going through the existing section, which is for Section A, existing cross-section for Section A, which is right here. We do have 2 travel lanes with a turn lane, with a small median, and 2 travel lanes, let me say that again. So 2 travel lanes on either side with a turn lane. And in existing, we do have a class 2 bike lane. When I say class 2 bike lane, that means there is no buffer separating it. It has its own lane, but it's not separated by a buffer. So we do have an existing class 2 bike lane. What we are proposing for that section is we still maintain the 2 travel lanes in either direction with a turn lane, which is for left turn lanes, do maintain our median of 3 feet, but also by reducing the widths of the lane. As you can see, it was 14 and 13, it was pretty wide. So we are reducing it to, we are going down to 11 feet each. Introduce a buffer in between the bike lane and the travel lane, so that it makes it more safer for the bikes to ride their bike in the bike lane, and create a class 4 facility instead of a class 2 facility. Quickly want to go through the existing cross sections for other sections too. Overall, like I mentioned before, that both the corridors have 2 travel lanes in either direction, so a total of 4 travel lanes. Section B right here has an existing class 2 bike lane. Section C has shared the road, so it's not really striped, but we do have legends that say that bicyclists and vehicular traffic need to share that corridor, that lane. And then section D and E again has 2 travel lanes in either direction with parking on both sides. So that's how our existing section looks like. And throughout the corridor, we do have 2 travel lanes. Getting into the concepts here. So one of the concepts we have that we're looking at is having maintaining the 2 travel lanes. So having 4 travel lanes, no parking, but converting the class 2 bike lane into a class 4 buffer separated bike lane, which is a protected bike lane. Again, by reducing the widths of the travel lane, we could easily accommodate a class 4 bike lane. And this particular alternative or concept can be applicable to all the sections, which are section B, C, D, and E. The next concept that we looked into was taking away 1 travel lane. So now that you're looking at is we have 1 travel lane in either direction with a center turn lane. And then we are also introducing the bike class 4 bike lane, which is again buffer separated. And this particular concept is applicable to section B and section C. The next concept that we are looking at is maintaining 4 travel lanes, no parking, on one side, but still having maintaining parking on the on one side of the corridor. At this point, we have not decided which side of the corridor we would maintain the parking. That would be decided in the design phase, but it does have 2 travel lanes in either direction, class 4 bike lane on both sides with parking on one side. This particular concept will be applicable to sections B, D, and E. And then the last concept we looked at was 2 travel lanes. So 1 travel lane in either direction. We have a 8-foot bikeway, which has 5 feet bike lane and 3-foot buffer, but we are maintaining parking on both sides of the corridor. So that's the last concept that we have, and this concept will be applicable to B, D, and E. So just to summarize all the concepts, just like a kind of an easy look at this, we do have 4 concepts that we are proposing. Their cross-section widths are given here, the travel lanes, bicycle lane widths, buffers, and which section does it apply to. And with that, we would like to open it up to Q&A.
I think we can skip to the next slide.
Should I stop recording? I just stopped actually. So want to quickly go through the next steps. We will be doing in-depth corridor traffic analysis, which we will share with you in our next meeting. Our next meeting will be the community outreach round 3, as I mentioned in the schedule. And just want to go through means of you staying connected to our project one more time. We do have a project website. We update that frequently, so please do visit our project website. All the updates are on our project website. Or if you want to send us an email, please do send us an email through walshmartinbikeplan@tjkm.com. We also have a survey for the design concept. So if you can scan the QR code that is right here and help us fill out the survey and let us know which alternatives would you prefer, then we would really like to hear from you. You can also call us and leave us a voicemail at 925-223-8332, and please do attend our future community meetings. Thank you for attending this meeting today.